Hello guys, welcome back to the game week 16 deadline stream. Thank you all for coming down early. And yeah, game week 16 already. There's lots to talk about. Lots of injuries, lots of transfers have been made. And yeah, let's see how we get along today. Before we get started, let's do a bit of housekeeping. If you are here, please do drop a like on the stream as well so that we can reach more people. And we'll also start off by saying hi to some of you guys who are already in the chat. Axel Devil's in the chat super early. In fact, 2 minutes early. I started really late. I have to apologize for that. I had a bit of technical difficulties at the start. Free hit team, right? Sanchez, Hincapi, Virgil, Anderson. Yeah, I think that's fair. Probably give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, on captaincy. Let me just fix it up a little bit. Yeah, so probably gonna do this. Probably gonna captain Saka and vice captain Hal. Yeah, so for now, this is the plan. I mean, I've been on Saka captain for a while now. I mean, answered a couple of members as well last night who were asking what are the plans with regards to captaincy. Yeah, we will definitely have to address some captaincy questions in a bit. Let me just sort out the stream a little bit. Seems like we're having a bit of... Yeah, let me just shift the chat down a little bit. All right. So, yeah, I mean, lots of things to discuss today. Henry, nice to see you in the chat. Toby as well, member. Ramadian, always here in the in the live stream as well. Lewis, nice to see you as well. My apologies. Just got a couple of notifications. All right. Okay, so let's start off firstly with the moves that I've made. All right. So for those of you who didn't manage to catch the team selection video, I made 4 transfers. I currently have 1 more transfer left. I'll be rolling that into game week 17. And yeah, for the 4 transfers that I made, I took Nick Pope out. I mean, I'm glad I finally got rid of Nick Pope because he was quite a big issue in the team. And yeah, I mean, it's not ideal that I have to spend one of those 5 free transfers on a keeper change, but that's just the nature of the situation that I was in. So Nick Pope, who has also since me selling him, dropped in price. Yeah, I got rid of him, got Raya in. On going for Raya, there was a couple of options that I was considering. I mean, there were quite a number of options, but I was more looking at Pickford and Verbruggen, and Raya, of course. The issue with Pickford and Verbruggen is that Pickford's fixtures only do start to get better from 2 weeks later. Right now they play Chelsea. In game week 17 they play Arsenal, and then after that it gets better. So it doesn't really make sense for me to buy Pickford right now. And then when I look at Verbruggen as well, he plays Liverpool away. I mean, you could say that longer term, maybe I save a bit of money by going for a cheaper keeper. But my view is also that having Raya as a set and forget also does allow me to then consider selling Timber if this issue does persist, if he doesn't start. Then I can actually consider selling Timber for a while when Arsenal's fixtures are not particularly the best. It's not the worst as well, but they do run into a slightly trickier set of fixtures. I could consider just selling Timber, going for someone like Tarkovsky, and then I would still have Raya because either ways, I still want some kind of defensive coverage from Arsenal. So that's what Raya allows me to do, and hence I stuck with Raya. And yeah, so that was the first transfer, a keeper transfer. So another transfer that I made was to sell Mateta for Raul Jimenez. This was mainly to free up funds to do Enzo Fernandez to Phil Foden, right? So that's already total 3 changes. And then the last change was kind of forced a little bit by Munoz's injury, so he will be out for quite a while. And I just took the chance, given that I was selling Munoz, to go for a keeper, a defender that had good fixtures now and also would be able to tide me through the next 2 to 3 weeks, which is Anderson. And then after that, I can start to go back to a 3 at the back, maybe a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, depending on how the team looks. So eventually, I won't be playing 4 at the back every week. Eventually, I'll shift back to a 3 at the back. But yeah, there are a couple of other players that I still do want. It's just a matter of when I go for them. For example, Tarkowski is someone that I am looking at. Michael Keane, also someone I could consider. But if I'm looking really longer term, then I think Tarkowski is the one, which I do have funds for. And then there's also Keenan Dewsbury Hall, mainly looking at the Everton fixture swing from game week 18, and also bearing in mind I do want Bruno Fernandes from about game week 18 or game week 19, around that kind of period as well. So lots of things going on in terms of transfer plans, but at least for this week, 4 transfers made already. So let me know in the comments, in the chat as well, how many transfers did you make? We'll do a captaincy poll after this as well, but let's start off with how many transfers you used for out of the 5 free transfers. All right, let's go with all 5. I do imagine there will be a group of people who used all 5. Maybe about 3 to 4. 2, and then we'll do 1. I mean, either ways, you do have to use at least 1. Because if you don't use anything, next week you'll still only have 5 free transfers. So you essentially have lost 1. So I'm gonna put like 0 out of the question. I'm gonna have all 5, 3 to 4, and then 2, and then 1. So let me know how many transfers did you guys use this week. By the way, if you guys just joined the stream, thank you for coming down early. We are super early today. Deadline is not for quite a while later. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe, of course. All those really help the channel. Okay, so let me get to some of your questions first before I do a bit of a discussion on captaincy. I mean, definitely we have to talk a bit about captaincy because there are considerations to be given for players like Saka. Haaland is still in there with a shout for sure, but I don't think I rank him as highly as Saka. And then there's Bruno Fernandes, who's in with a shout. Thiago as well, not gonna rule the man out. For now, I have the captain's armband on Saka at least. Okay, let me get to some of your questions. Ramadian says, "Hi Leon, I have Timber, Senesi, Shirky, Rice, and Mateta. What should I do as I only have 5 free transfers due to doing Munoz to Timber earlier this week to prevent price drop?" So you did Munoz to Timber. Well, hopefully Timber is fine because Timber is currently yellow flagged. But yeah, I mean, I do think he will be fine. But with what Arteta said, I can't guarantee. There's just a shadow of doubt. Yeah, so Timber, Senesi, Shirky, Rice, and Mateta. I think Mateta should be fine, right? Based on what Glasner has said. Shirky, I think he's okay as well. Declan Rice, my guess is that he would be fine, but because he is nursing a bit of an illness right now, and Arteta wasn't conclusive, of course, then Yeah, there is a bit of a doubt there. I don't think he's a must sell as well. Depends what kind of bench cover you have. And then you have Timber and Senesi. Now, I think I might actually be tempted to sell Senesi in your spot because you do have quite a number of issues. I there's no guarantee that Senesi also starts this week. You could obviously take the gamble, save your transfers, and then hope that all these players start. But I would probably hedge a little bit, transfer out those players that I think longer term you wouldn't mind not having. So, namely Senesi, Mateta is someone you could also consider selling. It's not the worst thing in the world. Shirky, Rice, I think both of them probably you could keep. Take a gamble with Rice. For Timber, have to look at your bench cover and see how you can manage that if he doesn't start. Exo Level says, Consult, how do you do? I am very well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you are well as well. Yeah, we'll talk about captaincy in a bit, Lewis. Free hit team, Pickford, White. I wouldn't have Pickford in the free hit team. I mean, he has Chelsea. Ben White is interesting. I don't mind it. Hincapi as well. Saka, Wilson, Foden, Bruno, Haaland, and Raul and Thiago. Yeah, I quite like this team. I mean, having a midfield of Saka, Foden, and Bruno is pretty essential, I would say, on your free hit. And then you would then consider a cheaper midfielder, in which case you've gone for Wilson, which is fine. You're doubling up on the Burnley fixture for Fulham with Wilson and Raul Jimenez. So I think that works. You have double Arsenal defense as well. So the only issue I have is the keeper. That's all. Why Raul over Wilson? I mean, Raul Jimenez just plays 90 minutes. And for me, it was more that I needed to free up funds from selling Mateta. So Raul was the one that I went for. And also that I mean, if I could free up funds from selling Minte to Wilson, I think that was also an option. But I'm happier to keep Minte longer term than I am to keep Mateta, and that's why I sold Mateta for Raul Jimenez. Minte I actually think rotates quite well with Keenan Dewsbury Hall, which I eventually will bring in for Anderson, who's on the bench as well. So overall, I would say, yeah, I'm happy to keep Minte, and that's why I don't really have a midfield spot that I want to bring Wilson in for. I don't think it's worth a transfer as well. Bench boost 16 or 18, more chance of rotation in 18. I think there's more chance of rotation in 19 than there is in 18. And when you compare 16 and 18, I think both weeks seem fine to me. Both weeks do seem fine to me. I think it's more a question of looking at your bench and see which week looks better for you. Yeah, so quite a number of you guys, 64% have used 3 to 4 transfers. Yeah, I mean, with all the injuries coming in, I do imagine that most of us had to use quite a few transfers. Minte or Ekatike, Dango or Wilson in the free hit for 16. If I was on a free hit, I wouldn't have Minte. I actually also wouldn't have Ekatike, to be honest. Like, yes, I think because Isak is nursing a bit of an injury, is a bit of a doubt that Ekatike's minutes does go up. But I don't really fancy Liverpool right now. I mean, they could go on and get a good result against Brighton, though I think it would be a tricky game for them. So I wouldn't kind of put my hopes on them, especially if I was on a free hit. I think they're better fixtures to target. Dango or Wilson? I actually prefer Dango for the free hit in Game Week 16. I think he's more explosive, and the data for Dango over a longer period of time is better than it is for Wilson, and his minutes are also slightly better than Harry Wilson as well. Trovelin says, going differential this week for captaincy, Ekatike, it could pay off nicely, but I hope it does for you. I just imagine that it wouldn't be super straightforward. I think Brighton are a decent enough defense to and attack as well to cover or to cause problems for Liverpool. Good looking team. Any chips left? I have no chips left. I've used pretty much all the chips. And yeah, also one free transfer left. I do have a bit of money in the bank, 1.6 million, but that is saved for getting Bruno Fernandes in game week 18. So yeah, overall, I'm in quite a happy spot with my team. Obviously, given that I've made 4 free transfers, if I'm not in a spot where I'm happy with my team for at least in the medium term, then something is wrong. But yeah, I'm happy with how it looks right now. Anderson of Vandenberg. If it's to start, I would say Vandenberg over Anderson, and I'm guessing because you spelled it as SON at the end. I'm guessing you meant the midfielder. If it's Joachim Anderson though, then I would start Joachim Anderson over Vandenberg. Jeremy says, which is better, triple captain Thiago this week or next week? If it's triple captain, I'd actually just save it for Haaland in game week 17. Yeah, that's what I do. I also wouldn't triple captain Saka this week. Free hit team, yeah, I answered this one. Who to replace with Munoz if you already have Anderson and Virgil van Dijk? O'Reilly. I like O'Reilly as well. If you want a Arsenal defender, then I think I probably would go for Hincapi. I think he will get at least 3 to 5 game weeks. By then, if Gabriel is back, you could move to Gabriel. Mbumo out for Bruno. This week there is some doubt, right, as to whether Mbumo will play. And yeah, I don't mind spending the transfer to just do Mbumo to Bruno. I mean, in usual times, I'd say this is a sideways move, but it's not really because Mbumo is not going to be in action for Manchester United for a while now because of the African Cup of Nations. Bench 2, Doku, Raul, and Wilson. Is Wilson Callum Wilson or Harry Wilson? Three transfers made. Gakpo, Saliba, Mateta out. Giyu, Hincapi, and Saka in. I think those are fine transfers, especially if you're free hitting next week, yeah. Why is everyone captaining Saka if he's not guaranteed to play the whole 90 with Madueke lurking and in good form? Yeah, I mean, the minutes for Saka this week, I wouldn't say is at 90. I mean, recently he hasn't been getting all 90 minutes as well. Let me just have a look at the stat. I mean, from what I remember, he's been subbed off for... Yeah, he hasn't had 90 minutes in game week 15. I remember they had to take him off for this one. So 78 minutes against Villa, 29 because he didn't start basically this game against Brentford in game week 14, and then 90s before that. Yeah, but the thing is, you're right to say that. I mean, Madueke was out during this period of time that he played 90 as well. Now that Madueke is back, he's in good form. I see no reason as to why if Arsenal are already 3-0 up, for example, that they won't take Saka off. So you have a point. As opposed to Haaland, for example, playing 90 minutes against Crystal Palace. So it is tricky. I mean, an alternative is just going extremely differential and captaining either one of Raul Jimenez or Thiago. So yeah, let's see. I think for now, I'm quite tempted to captain Thiago. I'll be honest. I'm just not keen on captaining Haaland. Let's do a captaincy poll as well. I mean, it could be famous last words. Okay, I'm gonna end the transfers poll. I mean, I'm with you guys in that I don't think Saka is going to explode in this game. Okay, captaincy poll. But also that Leeds have been in pretty good form, I would say. Captaincy poll for game week 16. Let's put the popular ones out there. I'll put Haaland. I'll put Saka. I'll put Bruno. And I will put Thiago. Thiago slash Raul Jimenez. I mean, I'd kind of rank Raul Jimenez and Thiago. Okay, maybe Thiago slightly ahead. So I'll put Thiago here as the last option. I can only put 4 options for the captaincy poll. So let me know who you guys are going to captain. All right. Let me get back to your questions. Having a bit of a cold as well. If you guys just joined the stream, please do drop a like as well. Let me check how many likes are we on. Okay, we're on 17 likes. If you guys are watching and you haven't liked, please do help me out and drop a like on the stream. That would be really appreciated. Triple captain dilemma. Which game week? Whom should I put it on? Haaland game week 17. Haaland game week 17 is the way I do that. Doku played a lot of minutes against Real Madrid. I have doubts about his minutes this week. I still think he'll start. I mean, Crystal Palace away is not an easy game. But I think it'll be business as usual for Doku. He starts, he comes off at about 70 minutes. That's usually what happens with him. Chalobah or Dewsbury Hall this week? Probably Chalobah. I mean, Chalobah has been a great asset. If you guys have owned Chalobah, you guys have probably raked in quite a few points. I think he's been quite... he's gone under the radar, I'd say, this season. There was a point in time... I mean, this is going to sound like I'm a hindsight merchant, but I was at some point considering on the Game Week 8 wildcard to bring Chalobah in as my Chelsea defensive cover because fixtures were quite good for Chelsea at that point. But yeah, in the end, I didn't. He goes on to keep lots of clean sheets. I was doubtful of his minutes as well, but he has played 90 minutes in every single one of those games as well. So one of those that could have been. What could have been? Start Xhaka or Minte. I start Minte. Defense isn't looking great at the moment. Senesi, Timber, O'Reilly, Anderson, Gehi. Who should I play? Any transfers to improve my defense? Not very confident with Liverpool at the moment. If you're looking at defenders to bring in, I think right now I would consider, looking at the players that you already have, like O'Reilly and Anderson, for example, I think I'd actually be fine to start O'Reilly, Anderson, and Timber, take a chance that Timber starts. But if you desperately want to improve it, I think players you could look at is, for example, Vandenberg from Brentford. I want to go Chelsea right now because longer term their fixtures are not super good. Who else? I brought in Anderson, but you already have him. Virgil van Dijk, you don't really want. Gehi is actually someone I think can be kept, to be honest. And then Senesi, you probably could do Senesi to Vandenberg and then start maybe 4 at the back. But even then, do you want 4 defenders? Right? So have a look at your team. If you rather play 3 at the back, I think you're fine this week. If not Saka, who's good for captaincy? Mbumo out to Bruno or stay 1 game before going to the African Cup of Nations? I just be afraid of whether Mbumo starts or not. Like, nobody can guarantee. There's just too much of a risk that I think if I had Mbumo, I probably wouldn't take the chance. I mean, we have 5 free transfers. I'd probably just take the chance to move. Nico Potato says Bruno is going to get double digits. I don't doubt it. And I haven't had Bruno Fernandes for pretty much the whole season. So he will be coming in. Not to worry. Bruno Fernandes will come in eventually. I mean, to be fair, a haul from Bruno Fernandes was quite due, I would say. There were so many weeks that he was, I don't know, unlucky not to get more points. And actually, he hasn't blanked that much as well. Like, even if he doesn't get attacking returns, there's some weeks he gets 4 points due to DEFCON points. I mean, there's just too many routes to points for Bruno Fernandes to continue ignoring him. Triple captain in game week 16, free hit in game week 17, bench boost game week 18 or game week 19. I think I kind of switch it around a little bit. Triple captain in game week 17, free hitting, I think team dependent, but this week looks pretty good as well in game week 16. Bench boost wise, again, right, it depends. You could do it this week. You could do it in 18 or 19 as well. I'll leave that. I mean, it depends, right? Can't use 2 chips in 1 week, so you play around with it. But my preference would be prioritizing triple captain in game week 17, but more so when you free hit, right? If you feel like free hit 17 is better, then who would you actually triple captain in game week 16? Like Saka, I wouldn't be super confident of triple captaining Saka this week. Can we guarantee that he plays 90 minutes though? If we can't, then, or if you don't think so, I probably wouldn't. So Saka is actually at 53% for captaincy. Babin Hada says free hit 16 team, Sanchez to Bravka, Hincapi, White, Chalobah, Anderson. That's double Chelsea defense though. Anderson, Estef, Palmer, Saka, Bruno, Gordon, Dangle, Haaland, Thiago. Any changes I would make? I think Gordon is fine. Bruno is fine. Saka is fine. I would try to have Foden in there. It's just my own preference over Palmer, in fact. Haaland and Thiago is fine if you don't want to go for Raul Jimenez or Harry Wilson in there. That's okay as well. I think you could do with improving the defense a little bit. Sanchez is probably, I mean, there is a better keeper to go for. Even Leno, for example. I even go Leno there. Hincape and White is fine. Chalobah is probably not the third defensive asset I would have. I think you could start Anderson. Like even double Fulham also works. If not, then I think if you're going for Leno, like I said, then I think you could go Vandenberg in defense. So there's lots of options to choose from, which is why I think free hitting in game week 16 is a decent option. Start O'Reilly over Minte and Anderson. Who should be first bench? Excuse me. Start O'Reilly over Minte and Anderson. Yeah, I mean, that's what I've done. And I think I would do that as well. But who would be first bench? I put Minte. I mean, it's good that I'm in this spot so I can use it to explain. Who to replace Munoz with long term? I've got Virgil, Anderson, and Timber. Has to be O'Reilly then for me. Who's the best defender? 4.8 or under. I have Richards. Anderson, probably. If not Vandenberg. Michael Keane, if you don't have to use him this week. Genuinely think Thiago gets 2 goals against Leeds. Oh, it's Josh as well. Nice to see you in the chat, Josh. He's a member in the Telegram group. Yeah, I mean, part of me thinks that I should actually give more consideration to Raul Jimenez or Thiago. I'll be honest. Opinion on Lewis Kelly on a free hit against Wolves. I like it. I like Lewis Kelly on a free hit because Calafiori is not going to play. And Lewis Kelly is pretty much guaranteed a start against Wolves. Probably will play 90 as well. And we know how attacking he can be. Best 4.5. Now that it's 4.5 that you're talking about, probably Michael Keane. Is he still at 4.5? But the thing is, fixtures for Everton are not good this week. So, it's 4.6 now. That's tricky. Richards is still 4.5. Oh, it's 4.6 as well. So 4.5 defenders are getting are all rising in price. And there's Van Heck, I guess. True fair. I do like Van Heck, but the only thing that I would say about Van Heck is you have to factor in some form of rotation, because Brighton's fixtures are good only if you can avoid Liverpool. I mean, depending on whether you think Liverpool is a fixture to avoid, but you have to kind of think about Liverpool in 16 here for them. And then there's also Arsenal away in game week 18. I mean, outside of that, fixtures are pretty good, right? Okay, barring the Man City in game week 21 as well. But yeah, outside of that, I'm actually very happy to like have Minty in my team, as I said, and rotate between Minty and Keenan Dewsbury Hall. That is probably what I'm gonna do. So yeah, longer term, that is the plan. Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna get a. I'll be back. All right, back. Apologies for that. Now that I think about it, Saka captaincy is too risky. Saka could be benched again or get an early sub. I mean, that's the thing, right? Which is also what's putting me off. But the fixture is very, very good. And who's to say that by the time Saka comes off, that he hasn't already gotten an attacking return? Like, even if you get 70 against Wolves and Arsenal are 3-0 up, could he have had a double-digit haul? I mean, it's possible. But the issue with Arsenal is also that the goals are very, very spread out. Like, I wouldn't put it past a situation where Arsenal win 3-0 and then Saka is completely not involved. I think that is completely possible as well. But what I said on the team selection video still stands, right? That all Saka needs is one attacking return, say an assist, and then if Wolves concede a penalty, that's pretty much a double-digit haul, right? For Saka. So I don't think it's particularly difficult. That is my point. But I am thinking of moving to Thiago. I'm not gonna say that I'm not tempted by it. I definitely am. Either Thiago or Raul Jimenez, but I probably have to back the home fixture. So for me right now, it's I'm not gonna captain Haaland. I'm pretty sure it could be famous last words, but I'm thinking of going for Thiago. I'm not gonna lie. Captain Thiago, vice captain Saka. Let's just try this on for size. Like, I'm being serious about this. Let's see what you guys think about it. I'm sure that those of you who just joined, or as people join and see the captaincy option, if it's on Thiago, might turn a couple of heads. Let's see. At least I know that Thiago is going to play 90 minutes, and he's also definitely on pens. Like, who's to say that if Saka and Gyökeres are on the pitch, that Saka takes it again? Like, I still think that yes, he's first choice penalty taker, but could it not be a case like Odegaard is back as well? You've seen Odegaard take some penalties off of Saka. Is Senesi going to be fine? Is he a good pick to own? If you don't have to start him this week, and if you can afford to bench him, he's a hold for me because he will have Burnley in game week 17. Is Raul or Wilson a better pick? I would say Raul Jimenez for penalties. If I was on a free hit this week, will my 5 free transfers be burned next game week? No. If you're on a free hit this week, you will still have 5 free transfers next week. Between Gehi and Minte, who should I bench? I'll probably bench Minte because Gehi can pop off with those attacking returns, and he's good for DEFCON as well. Not as good as Richards or Lacroix, but yeah, he could get points from there. As for Minte, I don't think he has many other routes to points other than Brighton getting an attacking return, if I can get my words out. Getting an attacking return against Liverpool. Would you recommend to sell Timber if you're on a bench boost? Pooh, that is a tricky question. I wouldn't take the risk, so I would sell him. Like, I think the threshold for making a transfer this week is just not as high because we have 5 free transfers now, right? And do I mind not having Timber for a longer period of time? I think he's by no means essential. Like after Wolves, it's Everton away, Brighton at home, Aston Villa at home, Bournemouth away, Liverpool at home. Right, after that, probably you could go back to someone like Gabriel as well. So you could actually take this as an opportunity to, find some justification because of the yellow flag to sell Timber and then go without an Arsenal defender all the way until after Liverpool in game week 21. Right, when Gabriel's probably back, and you would definitely prefer Gabriel over Timber. So, yeah. I mean, if I was in a bench boost, I think that's also even more reason to do so. Steve-O says, what are your plans for the next 2 to 3 game weeks? I'll share that in the transfer plans video that's coming out soon. But just off the top of my head, Everton players from game week 18, I want to bring them in when they have Burnley. Semenyo to Bruno is also a move that I'm looking at. So mainly those few players and those few moves that I'm looking at. Apologies for that. I'm a little bit under the weather. All right. Drinking some warm water as well. Hopefully it helps. Have Enzo. Want to ship him out for Harry Wilson or Rice. Who should I go for? Well, it depends, right? Is this pick going to be... I mean, it also depends who your other 4 midfielders are. Because if eventually you need the funds to... I don't know, in my spot, I need funds to go Semenyo to Bruno Fernandes. And if that's the case for you, then you probably have to go cheaper. Then Harry Wilson is an okay gamble. I mean, I'm not like super excited by Harry Wilson, but he's an okay gamble for about 3 weeks. Gives you a bit of cash, and then after that you can go, Semenyo to Bruno. It just frees up options for you. If you don't have to do that, then I think longer term Rice is the one that you'd want. So it's what you want out of this transfer, out of this pick. Also depends what your team requires. Is it better to keep triple Arsenal? Sorry, is it better to triple up Arsenal, change Munoz to Nkapi? Then you will have Timber, Hincapi, and Saka. Or is it better to go Munoz to Joachim Anderson? Okay, so what I'll say first is I don't think tripling up on Arsenal is absolutely necessary. Yes, the fixture now in game week 16 is pretty good. It's Wolves. But they do run into a difficult set of fixtures after this week. Of which I think you could take it on. You could take the effective ownership on and try to go with only one Arsenal defensive cover, which is something I am considering. Like Timber, if he's out for this Wolves game, and if he persists to be a doubt, Timber to Tarkowski is a very straightforward move for me. As I said, I'm looking at Everton players. Going Haaland captain, due a return, City need to make a statement against Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace is those kind of bogey teams for Man City. Like they never Man City never trounced Crystal Palace is what I'd say. It's not that I don't think Haaland will return, but it's more that I don't think it's going to be a straightforward win. That is it. Players like Lacroix, players like Gehi, Richards, they'll still be there. They'll still hold the fort, right? And then Mitchell is fine as well. Munoz, yes, he may be injured, but they have Sosa that could come in as well. So yeah, I mean, eventually, I still think it'll be a tricky fixture, and that's why I'm not considering Haaland as a captain. I mean, if I have a look at the predicted points as well, which is a good point, let me have a look at that. Okay, so this is the. Let me have a change of the screen. I apologize. So this is the projected FPL points from Rob T FPL. He does great graphics on Twitter. If you're not on it already, I seriously suggest to follow Rob at Rob T FPL. And yeah, Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Haaland in that order. So actually, in this kind of points prediction model, it doesn't even have Thiago in there. It doesn't even have Raul Jimenez in there. It just has Saka at 7.2 predicted points. And I think it's important to note as well that the model assumes that the player starts, which I think is fine. Like Saka will start. My only issue is whether he will get the full 90 minutes. That is it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not confirmed yet. I mean, I'm just trying it on for size. Thiago here, and then Saka as vice captain. But I probably will switch it back. We'll see what happens. As usual, I'll post the team on the socials about an hour before the deadline. Thoughts on Foden captain? I probably wouldn't. Bruno G, I also wouldn't. Ian, nice to see you in the chat. He says, so I still haven't sold Munoz. Should I use my last transfer to replace him? Current defense is Timber, Senesi, Munoz, Anderson, and Mukiele. Playing 4 defenders this weekend. I probably would sell. If I'm in your spot, I probably would sell. You have enough to justify making a defensive transfer. It's Timber and Senesi who are both doubts, and Munoz will definitely not start. You only have 2 defenders that you are completely sure will start, which is Anderson and Mukiele. So that's probably enough justification. DM McDonald says, good morning, mate. Hope you're well. Thank you very much. I am as well as can be. I'm a bit under the weather, but I'll survive. It says Martinez, Cash, Timber, Gehi, Rice, Foden, Neto, Bruno G, Haaland, Thiago, Jimenez is my team. Thoughts? And who would you have as captain, Haaland or Foden? If it's between Haaland and Foden, I still go Haaland. Up front, the forwards are fine, right? Haaland, Thiago, and Jimenez are all fine. Bruno G is okay to keep as well. Neto, Rice, Foden. Yeah, I mean, you probably don't have to ship them out, especially like Neto from Chelsea, even though he has been blanking for a bit. But yeah, he doesn't seem like an absolute sell. Gehi, Timber, Martinez, and Cash. I think you probably could make like one defensive transfer. Like it depends who else is on your bench. I think there are a couple of players you're missing out. That's probably a starting 11. But who is on your bench? And yeah, at least use one transfer. At least use one transfer out of the 5 this week. Should I go from Munoz Njai and Semenyo to Foden, Dewsbury Hall, and Anderson. I probably would. I mean, it seems like Semenyo to Foden is your route to getting Foden. I probably would, though Dewsbury Hall does not really have a good fixture this week and the next. But yeah, I like the Joachim Anderson move. I made that as well. Doku or Soboslai in for Minte. I think Minte is a fine keep. Even if you have to start Minte this week, it's not the end of the world. Minte probably would come in for me if any of my players miss out. If O'Reilly doesn't play or if Timber doesn't play, though I think O'Reilly probably would start. Tommy Guns says taking on the whole game and bring in Salah on a free hit but have a good bench. I wouldn't even talk about Salah right now as an FPL option. Like, unfortunately, it's just not the situation with Salah is just so difficult to call that it's not worth it from an FPL perspective to go for him. Rogers or Gordon for my free hit team. I probably would go Gordon. We may have to cut short the stream. Not feeling too well. Maybe another 15 minutes is what I'd do. But we'll see what happens. All right. Let's speed through some questions. Let's get through this stream. Thank you for the well wishes, MH Run 851. Thank you very much. Tommy Gunn says have a few shots of whiskey, clear it up, right? Yeah, I'll be alright. I just have to rest for a little bit. I'm gonna speed through some questions. All right, how many transfers did I make? I made 4 transfers, and I have 1 free transfer left. Melvin says, "Hi, bro. Afternoon. Should I sell Senesi for Anderson or just start Timber, Virgil van Dijk, and Gehi?" That's a tricky one. But I think I would make the transfer because Gehi does not have an ideal fixture and Timber is a doubt. I think it more likely he'll start, but I think there's enough reason to just go Anderson and have at least a good enough defender that you'd be happy to start as well. Who would be your best goalkeeper this week, disregarding price? Like, honestly speaking, if I was in a spot where, I don't know, if Nick Pope, for example, was not a transfer that I had to make, if Nick Pope was fine, I would have actually delayed the keeper transfer until game week 18, and I would have brought Pickford in. I wouldn't have brought Raya in. So that's just, off the top of my head in terms of goalkeeper pairings or options. I realistically did consider Jordan Pickford. So Dewsbury Hall from game week 18 and maybe Keane or Tarkovsky. Yeah, exactly. Correct. I might have to move for Bruno then as well, depending on price changes. But yeah, we'll see. With 5 free transfers, everyone has 2 forwards, Haaland, Thiago, 3 mids, Bruno, Saka, Foden, which leaves the other 6 as differentials. As game weeks go by, there seems to be a convergence, yeah. So usually what happens is that when there's lots of transfers that everyone has at their disposal, which has been the case, I mean, people had to dead end to game week 15, have to use all your transfers by then. And then in game week 16, even more so, you have to use at least one. But because of all the injuries, people use like 3 or 4 transfers. Generally, when that is the case, you always see a bit of convergence. It's for example like a wildcard week, where in a very popular wildcard week, as we've seen in previous seasons, of course, every time a popular wildcard week comes about, most teams converge again, and then they start to make other decisions, make some different decisions depending on where you want to go different, and then start to diverge again. So it's just you got it spot on, Toby. You got it spot on. I want to use bench boost, need cheap defenders and cheap forward. Would you recommend any? I like Raul Jimenez this week. I don't want to speak about Calvert-Lewin, but if you really have to go very cheap, maybe. Cheap defenders though, I think Vandenberg is someone you could consider. Joachim Anderson. Yeah, depends who you're looking at. If you're looking really, really cheap though, then I would say Roden and Mukiele. Yeah, all options for you. But that is really like super cheap. Will Ben White start? I think chances are Ben White probably will start, to be honest. Even if Timber starts, I think Timber will be in centre back. Captain Rice, Thiago, Foden. I probably wouldn't captain any of them other than Thiago, which is someone I am giving consideration to. I might just swap it back to Saka, like just not to confuse, the new viewers who are coming in. I might still go back to Saka. I mean, we have to see what happens as we get closer to the deadline. We'll see. Thank you very much, MH Run. I appreciate that. Would you recommend selling Munoz to Gehi and Semenyo to Rice? Munoz to Gehi, probably not a move I make. I think they're better defenders to go for now. Semenyo to Rice, also not necessary. I take the Manchester United fixture now, and also, what do you call that? Burnley in game week 17. Bail and rest up. Watch Thiago come through with the goods. I'm not decided yet. Do you think I should take the risk without Haaland? My current team is... I would still kind of prioritize getting Haaland, to be honest. But is he a must to get this week? That is a good point. You could. I mean, if you've gone without Haaland for so long, you could delay it one more week. But you have to have him for game week 17 against West Ham, at least so that you can captain him. Ginger and cinnamon is good for a cold. Thank you very much. Probably consider that. For now, I have some warm water that seems to be working. Yeah, this is good. Warm water seems to be helping. For those of you who just joined, please do help me out and drop a like in the stream. I appreciate that a lot. Bench Paqueta or Wilson, probably Paqueta. Evening, FPL Shane from New Zealand. Starting defenders are Timber, Lewis Kelly, and Theo. Would you sell Munoz and bring in anyone else? Yes, I probably bring Anderson in because it seems like you need at least one more defender to start this week. Timber could miss out. Right, he could miss out. Also depends who is your defensive cover though. Wolves have conceded less goals than these over the last few game weeks, so I'm deliberating between captaining Haaland or Thiago. Fair enough. Have 907 points, 154k overall. Very nice. Who will you have chosen between Richards and Gehi? Depends on funds. If you have more than enough funds, probably Gehi. If you need the cash, then probably Richards. Get O'Reilly for either Chalobah or Richards next week. Yeah, I think that works as well. Yeah, Klein is probably going to start. Like Glasner has said that Klein will start in place of Munoz. So yeah, I mean, either ways, I don't put it past Man City to still win this game. I just think it will be slightly tricky for them still. That is it. I don't think it's a walkover. Do you think free hit without Haaland is good? I want to say no. Morning, bro. Team is Raya, Dubravka, O'Reilly, Virgil van Dijk, Daikite, Lacroix, Foden, Theo, Foden, Minte, Mbumo, Eze, Njai, Haaland, Welbeck, Thiago. I think you probably could spend some transfers taking out Mbumo because I don't know whether he'll start. Njai is also someone you could look to ship out. Daikite as well, right? Not a must. So there are transfers that you could make down there for sure. Is Rice starting? My guess is that he will, but don't put it past Arteta to just give him more of a rest. All right, I'm gonna call it a day here because fortunately not feeling too well. But thank you all of you guys for coming down. And yeah, all the best for game week 16. There will obviously be content again for game week 17. Transfer plans are probably recorded tomorrow and have it out in the afternoon for those of you in the Asia Pacific region. But yeah, if not, if you're in the UK, it probably will be in the morning, out in the morning for you guys. So there we go. I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you all of you guys for coming down. I appreciate all of the support. And all the best for game week 16. Get your captaincy calls settled as soon as you can. I'll make a bit of a decision and I'll post it on the Instagram channel. If not, thank you for coming down, and I will catch you in Game Week 17 content coming very, very soon. Bye bye.